Hey, just wanted to give a quick update. I'm on the road right now, but wanted to give a quick update as to what's going on in the markets. The markets are screaming higher. They have realized that the Iranians actually want to negotiate, and things are looking much more positive in the short to medium term. So I follow three indicators, and all of them have turned positive in the last several days. And like I said last week, we added more stocks. I've added more stocks in the last day or two and intend to get to 100% stock allocation. And that's a worldwide stock index, something very simple, in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Not rushing to it, but not taking my time too slowly. And then gold has recommending a doubling the allocation from 1/4 to 1/2 allocation in gold of its gold's percentage. And so we're looking at we've added some gold there. And whether it's the GLDM or the GDX, which is the miners ETF, those are some ways you can play it. Just a hint, if you're doing a taxable account, a GDX is the miners. It's higher volatility and higher risk, but tend to be higher return. But if you put GLD, which is just the ETF for gold, I believe from what I've heard that can be taxed at a higher tax rate because it's considered an asset that is taxed at the full tax account versus capital gains. So anyway, if you got retirement accounts, you could put the GLDM ETF. And for non-retirement accounts, you could put the GDX, which is a little higher risk, but the actual miners themselves. So anyway, still no positive indicator on Bitcoin, but I think that's might be coming, and I'll let you know if it does. I won't be surprised. We just broke above 75,000, which if it can hold here for a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if we're on a real major risk on for that. And the big indicator here, just so you know what some of the indicators I follow, the big indicator is the dollar. The dollar has really dropped, and that means risk on. And so whether we believe that the Iran war is over or not, or whatever your political slant, doesn't matter. The indicators are saying it's risk on and in the short and medium term. So don't want to chase it too much. If you see a big down day, if something bad happens in the economy, that's when you may want to add some more to your stock and or gold holdings. So I've added to both here in the last couple days and continue to look for opportunities there. But just wanted to give you a quick update on that and plan on adding more to my worldwide stock index, just to move into that as kind of every once a week over the next 3 weeks or so. So that's what I'm doing. Still maintaining a 25% cash position. We're not out of the woods. And I don't think we're out of the woods in the medium to long term. I think we could be rhyming with 2008, where we had Bear Stearns, and our similarity to the credit crisis there would be private credit. And just like anything, it's much slower to correct. And so we could be looking at problems with that down the road. There's insurance companies that are looking at problems with annuities. Be careful with any of those, adding into any annuities you may have, because a lot of them have invested in private credit. But anyway, good companies, you'll be fine, but just be careful out there with that stuff, because they've invested in private credit to hit their returns that they need for the guarantees they've got out there. So whether this ends up being similar to 2008, where we had a correction and then an oil shock, which we're going to have here. It started. It's not necessarily over, because the strait is not open, folks. So that's why we're not 100% risk on with everything. But the indicators are saying that the market is going with or without us. So and then we could end up with the oil shock results, which is a recession and a downturn, and potentially a systemic credit problem over the next year or two, as was Lehman. So anyway, I'm not saying that's going to happen. History doesn't repeat itself. It usually just rhymes. But we got to be very careful in the medium to long term. But in the short term, a lot of risks have come off. A lot of people have taken off their shorts, and that's what we're having now, is a short covering rally. And you don't want to fight it, even though emotionally I don't want to buy this rally. But following these systems takes the emotion out of it. and emotions are our worst enemy when it comes to the stock market. We got out of the stocks, even though it seemed, because it seemed so dire, but that's not why I got out. It's because the indicators were saying that the risks were too high of a 20, 30, 40% crash, and you can't survive that. Certainly not at my age, about 60. You can't survive a 40%, 50% downturn, and with retirement coming. Now, if you're 25 years old, no big deal. You'll recover, but it can be 10 or 15 years. There's been downturns like in the early 2000s that took over 10 years, 15 years to correct. And if you've gotten out and gotten back in when the market's just down 3, 4, 5% as opposed to 50, NASDAQ dropped 70, 80, 90%. If you take that on, the recovery is too great. So I'm just trying to remove the left tail risk here. So the high risk downturn. So anyway, I'm not doing it. I'm following systems that do that and just passing on the message. So anyway, hope everybody's well. I'll leave it at that. Real estate has struggled as a result of higher interest rates. They're starting to turn back down. That's the other thing. Dollar dropping, interest rates dropping. If that continues, we're going to continue in a risk on market. If any of that flip-flops, be careful. We'll have new indicators to lighten up. But right now, half our allocation of 100% of gold and half our all of our allocation of 100% in stocks with a worldwide index such as VT, which is the ETF you could possibly use. But anyway, and then still maintaining at least 25% in cash because we're waiting for a Bitcoin sign. I think that might be coming. I'll let you know if it does. To buy Bitcoin or to add to Bitcoin, that you might just be a hodler for keeping long-term Bitcoin, but for trading Bitcoin, we might have a buy indication coming soon. So that's what I'm looking at every day from my the systems that I've subscribed to. Take care.